Very good morning students. Welcome to another lecture on microprocessor interfacing. In this lecture we are going to discuss about the 8237 DMA. So in the previous lecture we have discussed about 8257. So here we are discussing about 8237 and this DMA is nothing but a sophisticated I/O technique in which a DMA controller replaces the CPU and takes care of the memory access of both the input and output devices, which in turn reduces the time period. So this acts as a fast data transfer between memory and I/O devices, and this method is allowing data to be moved from one location to another location in a computer without any interrupt of or without any interfacing of CPU. So see here in this class we are going to discuss about DMA, 8237 DMA and its block diagram, what are the components, pin diagram of 8237 and the features of 8237 DMA. First of all, coming to what is a direct memory DMA. DMA stands for direct memory access, as I have told in the previous session itself. It is one of the ways to accomplish high-speed data transfer directly between memory and peripherals. Whenever we are interacting with the CPU, it takes some more time when compared to this DMA. So the DMA is method of data transfer between memory and I/O devices without the intervention of microprocessor. That means we are not including the CPU here. So we are not including the CPU here. Okay. This method is often used when large block of data is to be transferred. In the previous session, as we have discussed about 8257, we are transferring a little bit of amount, and by using this 8237 DMA controller, we are transferring large block of data. So the DMA data transfer is controlled by using a separated DMA controller. That means we are using separate DMA controllers. That means here we are using number of slaves for one slave. So coming to this block diagram here we have the timing and control signals here of here. This is required to generate the internal timing and external control signals by the external bus interfacing. See here, the EOP means end of process, reset, chip select, ready, clock, address enable, address strobe, memory read, memory write, I/O read and I/O write. So see here as we already know about a reset, chip select, which selects the mode of operation, or which select the number chip select or slave select, and ready pin, clock, which is going this is a master here, and it is going to give clock to the other peripheral, that is other slaves or other DMA controllers. Here address enable, it is going to enable the address, and address strobe checks the address lines, memory read and memory write operations, I/O read and I/O write operations. Here I/O read and I/O write operations are active low signals, and it is a bidirectional signal here. So coming to the next one, priority encoder and rotating priority logic. So here priority encoder means here we are having 4 channels. So channel, in the previous session I have told you that channel 0, channel 1, channel 2 and channel 3. Channel 0 is having the highest priority, whereas in the case of channel 3 it is having the least priority. Here priority encoder, what type of priority has to be given to the channels, or how we can arrange this in a rotatory priority logic also. See here, data request 0 to 4, data request 3, HLDA, hold acknowledgement, hold request, data acknowledgement 0 and data acknowledgement 3 here. So these things are sending data. That means yes, why? Because 4, 3, 2, 0. Why? Because we have 4 channels here. That's why we have 4 data requests. It will be explained in the pin diagram here. Okay. So coming to the next one, we have a command register which is of 8-bit, and it is used for data transfer, and mask register which is of 4-bit, and request register, which is also of 4 bit. Here we have 4 channels here. That means base address channel, base word count register count. That means base address and base count register. So read buffer, read write buffer, increment or decrementer. Okay, these are the 4 address registers or 4 channels what we have. The request will be sent from this. Okay, see here we are sending a upper byte of the data. That means A8 to A15. So from this we are going to send A8 to A15, and from this we are going to send A0 to A7, sorry. And this internal data bus interacts with the commands, and the signal is going to be sent to the priority encoder as well as to the timing and control signals. That means this DMA will send a request to the CPU through this timing and control signal, and this priority and encoder will select which channel or which data channel has to be incremented or which data channel has to be accessed. Whether it is a write buffer and read buffer. Whenever we are transmitting data from these 4 channels to the internal bus, then it is read buffer. Whenever we are accepting data from the microprocessor, then it is a write buffer. And we have a command control also here, and output buffer which is from A4 to A7, and IO buffer which is from A0 to A3. That means A4 to A7 pins acts as an output buffer, and A0 to A3 acts as an both IO buffer. Okay, and the values DB0 to DB7 acts as an IO buffer also. Okay, and coming to the what are the main components here? The main components are data and bus buffer. See here, data buffer and bus buffer, and timing and control block, DMA channels, corresponding priority block, read write control logic, and the internal registers. See here we have an internal register, base address register, base word count register, current address register, current word count register, temporary address register, and temporary word count register. These are the important registers. And coming to the pin diagram of 8237, we have DMA REQ. That means DMA request. So these 4 pins are used to request DMA to transfer for a particular DMA. That means, see here we are accessing first level of DMA. After that we have several slaves here. That means if we are interacting with microprocessor through one channel of one slave of DNA, and from that we are interacting with the number of additional DMS here. See here. So this request, as I have already told you, that we have 4 channels, that is channel 0, channel 1, channel 2 and channel 3. This is used to request DMA for a particular DMA channel. And here next one is hold acknowledgement. So hold acknowledgement, whenever, first of all, before going to that, we need to have a hold request. So hold request, so this requests the DMA transfer. This sends an interrupt or signal to the microprocessor that hold request, that I need to send the data. This hold request will be sent to the microprocessor, and whenever it accepts that hold, it will send an hold acknowledgement. That means this pin signals 8237 that the microprocessor has relinquished control of address, data and control bus to the 8237 DMA. And coming to this one, next one is clock. This is as we have know that for every DMA channel we are going to send the clock pulses through the master, that is a CPU only. So these clock pulses decides the frequency. Okay, so coming to reset instance clears the command status and the request pins, etc. All everything will be removed. Coming to the ready state, data is ready to access by the microprocessor. Chip select what type of mode, it is a IO mode or BSR mode. Okay, a EOP, end of process. Bit this means bit direction signals the end of the DMA process. This pin, it is an active low pin. Whenever 0 is there, this shows that the process or the end of the DMA process. Memory write and memory read, it both are active low signals. So whenever we are going to read the data or we are going to write the data from the memory, that means we are transmitting from this DMA, we are writing the data to the memory, or from here we are transmitting, we are reading the data from the memory device. IO write and IO read both are low signals, active low signals. That means it is in bidirectional. That means if we are going to read or write the data, that means we are sending the data to the master or we are receiving data from the master. That's why it is a bidirectional. Here in right pin also. Okay, we are writing to IO device memory or we are writing from the memory. So here, as we have sent already, we have sent some 4 requests: DMA request 0, DMA request 1, DMA request 2 and DMA request 3. That means we have sent a request for 4 channels, and after the identification of request from the microprocessor, it sends an acknowledgement, that is DMA acknowledgement 0, 1, 2, 3. That means if it is set, then we can use the channel 0. And coming to the hold request, as I have already told you that, coming to the strobe, address strobe, this pin is used to control the latching of the address bytes. Okay, and here A0 to A3 and A4 to A7 are the address bus. Okay, so A0 to A3, this address pins select an internal register during programming and provide part of a DMA transfer address during the DMA operation. That means here it is going to do an internal register during programming. This pin, so it selects an internal pin itself, and from the A4 to A7, these address pins are output pins. That means output pins that provide a part of DMA transfer address during DMA operation. And coming to this DB0 to DB7, these are a data bus which is connected to the microprocessor and used during the programming of a DMA controller. And coming to the features, it is a 40 pin package. 8237 is a programmable direct memory access controller housed in a 40 pin, packed in a 40 pin package, and it has a 4 independent channels, as we have discussed here. It means 4 independent channels: channel 0, channel 1 and channel 2, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 0, and it can transfer up to 64 kb of, okay, and it must be interfaced with the microcontroller unit and peripheral devices. It is an IO device to microprocessor unit. It is an input-output device to the microprocessor unit, and it is a data transfer process to peripheral device. It's an IO device, input-output device to the microprocessor unit, and it is a data transfer process to the peripheral devices. That means whatever multiple slaves. So many of its signals that are input in the IO mode become outputs in the processor mode. Very important. Signals that are in the input in the IO mode will become outputs in the processor mode. Okay, so coming to the service, how it is going to, okay, DMA service takes place in one of the following 4 modes. How many modes are there? So single transfer mode, that means only one transfer will be there. So in the single transfer mode, the device is programmed to make one transfer only, a single byte or a word is transferred. For example, if you purchased a licensed version, then it will be for only a single user. Okay, so block transfer mode. In block transfer mode, the device is activated by DMA request to continue making transfers during the service until a TC, that means term count. Once the DMA acquires the system bus, an entire block of data is transferred up to a maximum of 64 KB. That means here we are transferring a block of data for multiple users, but here we are transferring a block of data for only a single user, and the maximum count value or the maximum bit rate is 64 KB. Demand transfer mode. This mode is similar to the block transfer mode. In addition to TC and EOP, end of process, transfer can be terminated by deactivating data request signal. So we are deactivating this signal, deactivating data request, and we are terminating the transfer. Data transfer can be terminated by deactivating this data request signal. And the last one is cascade mode. It is useful to expand the number of channels beyond 4, that means more than 4. Cascading. See here we have seen a microprocessor which is connected to a 8237A, and this 8237A is connected to some different or some extra 8237A. See here, hold request and hold acknowledgement. When this device, this 8237, sends a hold request to the microprocessor, whenever the microprocessor recognizes that hold, it sends an hold acknowledgement. Then this slave becomes the master. That means it takes over the address, data and control register into its control, and it transfers the data. See here, data request, hold request is given to the data request pin, and data acknowledgement is sent to the hold acknowledgement pin. That means it sends a data request, and this pin will transmit the data acknowledgement. We have received your data, and it is giving an information that data is been acknowledged. From this slave, it is transmitting to slave 1, 2 and 3, and we can increase this from here. See here, for example, this is slave 1. I am connecting to 2 and 3. So if I connect more than another slave also here, means I can connect 1 and I can connect 2. From that means here multiple slaves are becoming high. So in a cascading mode, it is useful to expand the number of channels beyond 4. We can increase, or we can change, or we can send the data beyond 4 users also. Thank you.